Walton, Kentucky, a small town 30 minutes south of Cincinnati and 1 hour north of Lexington. Our Lady of the Assumption began as St. Pius X Chapel in 1977. Was blessed by Bishop Williamson in 1992, and then in 1993, St. Pius X Academy opened its doors in Cincinnati, Ohio. This became the cornerstone for traditional Catholics in the Cincinnati and northern Kentucky area. As the parish grew, the church building required continuous repairs. The greater concern was its location, confined on all sides by the locale and the surrounding city, limiting options for a practical space that would accommodate a growing community, school, and priory. With close proximity to Indiana, Ohio, the interstates, and the Cincinnati airport, Walton was the ideal site to build a new church and school. In 2010, the traditional Catholic community completed the construction of Our Lady of the Assumption Church, Priory, and Assumption Academy. With the help of about 300 parishioners, the school started the 2010-2011 school year with 30 students. By 2014, the school had 4 priests teaching religion, Latin, and philosophy. The school was also blessed to have the Dominican Sisters of Fanjeaux teaching grades K through 5 and music. Additional grades were added in subsequent years. At that time, the town of Walton had a population of 3,600. Today, Walton has grown to a town of 5,600. We live in an era marked by unprecedented government control and oversight. The Catholic Church has seen a steady decline in attendance. The traditional Latin Mass is entirely suppressed in some areas. The sacred path to priesthood and religious life now languish at all-time lows. Modern methods of teaching have abandoned centuries of Catholic education. From kindergarten to colleges, the classical curriculum faces rejection and abandonment. We find ourselves ensnared in the age of social media, in a decline of genuine human connection and the rise of a cancel culture. Without God, we witness unrest, crime, and confrontations, a reflection of the struggles faced by our modern societies. The Catholic Church, with the Mass of the ages, resilient through all time, continues to stand as a beacon of eternal light, offering a timeless message of faith, hope, and charity. Despite the trying times, the faithful continue to be drawn to tradition, knowing it to be the rock of salvation. Parishioners have moved to Walton to be close to the sacraments and to raise their children in the faith. The number of faithful attending Our Lady of the Assumption has grown fivefold to over 1,500 parishioners today. In 2018, the parish completed building a school for boys K through 3 and girls K through 12, Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Academy. With the growth of the parish comes a new challenge, a space to accommodate the growing number of students at Assumption Academy.
Hello, my name is Father Stephen Stanich. I am the principal at Assumption Academy here in Walton. I have been the principal here for the last 2.5 years, coming up here in mid-November. So we are the only traditional Catholic all-boys school, elementary through high school, for over several hundred miles. The growth of our school has been exponential. At present, our K through 3rd grades are graciously taught by the Dominican teaching sisters of Fenjo. In order to preserve the class ratios at Our Lady of the Sacred Heart Academy, Assumption Academy will be adding another boys grade each year. In the 2024-2025 school year, the 3rd grade boys class will be added to Assumption Academy. To accommodate this growth, new portable classrooms will be brought in and placed across the parking lot. As Catholic churches and schools continue to close, and as the traditional Latin Mass is suppressed in areas across the country, we expect the growth in Walton to continue unabated. We have now exhausted all other possibilities for growth within the 4 walls of the school. As a result, we are embarking on a project to build a new Assumption Academy. The new Assumption Academy will be built just to the east side of the church. This will provide adequate room for a proper building and parking lot, while being close enough to the church to allow students to attend daily Mass. The school will be configured in an east-west direction. Students will enter centrally through the main entrance. On the western part of the building will be a gymnasium and cafeteria, and beyond that, an auditorium with a stage that can face either the auditorium or the gymnasium, depending on the event. The building exterior will be mostly masonry construction with brick as the main material and an ample amount of stone accent detailing. The front facade of the school will have a large plaza to help gather the students before the school day. Coming through the front doors, you will be met by the school office. Beyond the secured access doors is the main school hallway. You'll be able to see all the way down the hall to the cafeteria and gymnasium. As you move down the hallway, you will pass by the high school classrooms, then the lab rooms, next to middle school grades, and finally the grade school classrooms.
When we originally started looking at the site development, a couple of the key factors which drove some initial design studies was one, the state highway in Beaver Road. For reference, this is the existing church, and this tan color is the existing parking lot and paving. The new proposed facility is going to be right in this area right here. It'll follow the contour and be just south of the main church building. You can see we've used a lot of the stone similar to the church and the girls' school across the street, but we've also added this brick, and that is to give it a little bit of identity. It still has a stone wainscot along the bottom. We have all the academic in one large corridor. We placed the mechanical and double-sized music room in the center. And then we have the elementary component on one side, the high school component on the other side. We then have the electives like the science and art all in the front, which can be shared. The fellowship hall is on the lower level below with full windows out the back, which would allow in the future for the classrooms to potentially even be doubled in size into the lower level. The other side, which in the end would house a 400-seat auditorium with sloped seating, would have a two-way stage, a full gymnasium. It would actually have all these things on the lower level, and then on the upper level would have a walk that would look down on the gym. It would have band rooms, libraries, and other ancillary type support spaces for that.
Certainly these schools, truly Catholic schools, truly Catholic education, it's something that interests everyone. I mean, this is the future. If we want to have a society that's sane, again, we see it all around us, the insanity that's there. To have this sanity once again, it's going to be through our schools, the education that the children receive, through the formation of young adults. So I think that should be an interest of everyone, whether we're part of the community or not. That's important for all of us. The Mass is the center of that education, and as people have been exposed to it, they realize what a treasure is there. And then, of course, the things that help with learning that faith and holding that treasure dear is, of course, the education in the schools. And when they realize the two go together, I think that certainly has helped people to come to our schools. You know, we have an education department which has developed the curriculum that we use in our school. And it's for those three areas, it certainly has looked at what is needed for full development. So spiritually, of course, the liturgy, the Mass, centered around the Mass, the religious education, the spiritual life, the prayer life of the children, and then just the curriculum for the development of the mind. The 3 R's we always speak of: reading, writing, and reckoning. That's a big part. And then, of course, physically, we have our PE courses. We have sport in the schools, try to train the body to fit in with all that, to make the whole person. So it's an investment for any of us for the future. And so from that angle, we might say it's a duty. Yes, we want to invest in the future. And this is through good Catholic schools. That's where we will get good Catholic adults. Yeah, when you walk into the church there too, you see these people are serious about their faith, and it's the same with the school. When you've got serious buildings, these are people that take it seriously. I mean, I think with any of our projects, we look at them and when we see the cost, we're just like, wow, this is overwhelming. It's like St. Mary's with the new church.
Yes.
When I was the rector there, back in 2008, 2012, as we're looking at raising money for the new church, we had like, I don't know, $1.5 million. It was just, we had no hope. But through the years, through the generosity of benefactors and stuff, it came together. So really God's will. I mean, and here also with this new school, I think it's God's will. It's just a matter of when he sees fit to inspire people to give.
I do not think I would be a priest today had I not gone to Assumption Academy. That is true. That's one thing about the school that I love the most, the fact to have good Catholic friends. But in the end, the pursuit is for something good, and there's definitely a deep desire to be good. And you're only going to be as good as the people around you. So that's why a Catholic school is ultimately the greatest form of education, why it's going to be the most perfect and so necessary. The closeness or the availability to go to Mass more than just on Sunday, but also confession, and to be around the priests and be able to ask them questions and see the priests, not just from the pulpit, be able to speak to them in the classroom, truly has an influence.
The biggest draw for a parent is you want the best for your children. And with the craziness that's in the world today, for me, I feel like we can kind of let our guard down a little bit by sending our kids to Assumption, because we all want our children formed with the faith, and Assumption gives a good formation.
Well, they have the atmosphere of the priests, and over at Ulster they have the atmosphere of the nuns, which is something neither of us grew up with.
I went to public school, and so,
And my nuns at my Catholic high school were wearing shorts, so.
It's humbling to see how parents will drop everything and move across the country, if need be, to come to Assumption Academy. They're putting their children's faith and education, their formation,
First.
is the first priority.
Two things that draw people here. For one, it's a K through 12th grade here. So I mean, so many other, say, traditional Catholic schools, they may only go to 8th grade, and then where do you go? Do you send your boys away? So we have that beauty of all the way through high school. And then you also get that interaction with the priests. They do, you want your children to be around that atmosphere, right, to feel comfortable around them. And so that's another great perk, is sending our children there.
I've lived in Kentucky my whole life, and we moved down to Crittenden, which is just south of Walton, 13 years ago. Our oldest went into first grade basically when the school started, and I think he was one of 6 students in his class. It's kind of nice because they seem like they're all from fairly like-minded families and stuff, and you don't have to worry as much. We're just so centrally located that...
But you can have the country life. You can...
This is why it's exploded the way it has, because it's a little slice.
The role of man is not to give life like a woman is. His role is to give his own life. Education is being educated in the things that matter, and the things that matter are about the things about God. So it's that the whole idea of the school is built in to the Catholic formation. The sacrifice plays in everything. The Catholic in his life, he's designed to offer himself for the honor and glory of God and to work to become a saint. But seeing the growth is incredible, and now I'm seeing like it's getting too small. So the PE field, when we have PE, it's hard integrating all the classes at the same time in the last period of the day. And everything in the curriculum, the sports, the classroom, the Mass, the sacraments, everything's directed towards that, building that foundation, that anything you do necessarily could be for the honor and glory of God. So whether it's math, science, English, literature, religion, whatever, it's the intention of building yourself up to a higher standard.
I started here in 4th grade, and I went all the way up to senior year, graduated in 2020. Spiritually, there's just no better place for a young man to be than at Assumption. I mean, like we said before, the Mass, the sacraments, the priests, they're always there. In religion class, it's not just, hey, can you list off, this or that thing from the Council of Trent. No, it's teaching you to love your faith. The biggest contributions to developing character for me personally was being in the sacristy. You have to be punctual. You have to know how to conduct yourself on the altar, juggling so many responsibilities other than just your schoolwork. I played all the sports available, baseball, basketball, and soccer. Anything I could get my hands on.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite?
Definitely soccer, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think as a graduate, there's a real expectation that you're going to continue to grow and live your faith. And it's something that my wife and I are really thankful for. We can look back at those days and we know that we got a good education because of that.
It was fairly easy to come back. I had already had, obviously, a good background going to a foreign boarding school. Academically speaking, I enjoy learning. Particular subjects, definitely liberal arts and history and languages. Just after more or less 1 year, I was very well acquainted with my classmates. There's a very strong unity in our class. In whatever circumstance, whatever situation we're in, if you're not going to take that step to accomplish something, no one else will. Mm-hmm. So that sense of leadership and taking responsibility, that's definitely been a big impact. The bottom line would be we're given this formation to become not only good citizens and good men, but also soldiers of Christ.
For the Church, this will be a beacon of learning for Catholics looking to stand up against the tide of modernism. It will equip our youth to be leaders and to be bold in the faith, helping to bring more people back to the Church and her teachings. When you give to the Assumption Academy, you are giving to educate future generations in a love of learning and, most of all, a love of God. Every boy must actively learn and embody the ideal of becoming a man through his intellectual, moral, and spiritual endeavors. Dedicated priests, religious, and lay teachers will guide him in emulating our Lord Jesus Christ through Assumption Academy. Our children, fellow citizens, and the world urgently need our assistance to build an education grounded in reality and to strive for genuine justice and mercy. The time to join and support Assumption Academy is now.